What's going on? It's your boy Will Mike Craven, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to this one. I have to put this table here because it is a representation of what I am about to talk about, and it's the famous thing that people love to say is, "What do you bring to the table?" Well, I've mentioned in the video before that I don't really deal with what a woman brings to the table. I don't ask. Well, I don't ask her that. That's not something I ask because as a man, I understand that there's this thing that I'm actually doing, and as a leader, I'm looking to see how she fits what I'm doing, not what she tells me she does. In order for me to actually see how she fits what I'm doing, I have to evaluate her. So I can't just take her word for face value. Now, considering that I got these right here, you probably can't see it in the shot. Drums, of course. I'm gonna use something that's really relatable and related to this topic. So, yeah, this here is exactly how it would equate to what I do as far as a woman. Not asking her what she brings to the table. So there's various books here. One, this is a dictionary, rudimental drumming. This is a piano book, elementary, basically, for kids to learn, easiest form. This here is a blues book, jazz book, rock book, Afro-Cuban book, the Great Vinny, Unreal book, and Understanding Rhythm, all various books. So what does these books represent? These books represent various women. So none of these books are the same. So as a woman, it is your job as a man to turn around and understand. So some of these books are various genres. So when you understand these books are various genres, and this here is basic. So if this is basic, so if you ended up with representation said that these are women, I should throw it down like that. I'm sorry if I offended any ladies for me throwing this book down after I didn't say this is representation of you all. My mistake. With that out of the way though. This here is a foundational book into drumming. So if you ended up with a woman who was she had foundation, you need to turn around and open it. No matter what she tells you, we have a tendency of wanting people to tell us what's in it. No, you don't learn it until you open it. And once you open it, you have to actually start reading it. And there's various notes in these books that will be played. So once you start reading it, in order to do any of this stuff in here or apply it, you have to sit down and practice it. So with a woman, how do you actually do that? Well, you have to actually be engaged and be interacting with each other. And the stuff that she turns around and tell you, you have to then learn, store it, and then as you keep gaining more knowledge, then you use the stuff that she stored, that she said to you or done, and then you turn around and apply it and put it in position. So that's with like this elementary rudiments, that's foundation. So this would be something that you technically should learn from almost every woman, since this would be considered a foundation piece. So it then turns around and allows you to understand the core basics of what women are. Now, if you want to just get in the early stage, this is like, okay, some stuff you start learning later. But this is when you really start getting into adulthood with women and these various genres. So we understand that, there are various genres, and as musicians, they play various genres of music. But most of the time, it's usually spoken to you to pick a genre of music. So this would be like, all right, pick a woman. All right, now that you done picked her, this book is blues. You pick a woman and whatever it is that she's related to blues. We'll just say she's blues. You open this book and you learn it. You go through it. And once you start going through it, like this book had a CD to it. So this would be like listening to it. So you would actually have to listen to your woman and what she's telling you. So you're not asking her what she's bringing to the table. You're learning her and seeing what it actually is that she's bringing to you so you can use it. So if she's the blues and you're saying, okay, I've heard blues my life on the radio. Now I want to really learn blues. So now you've picked a woman who fits what it is you want to do. So if you wanted to play blues, you would then pick a woman who's blues, and you've learned more about it. Book. And the better thing to do is to get around someone who's an older woman who's almost similar fashion to the woman that you're now in front of you. And then you turn around and you gain more knowledge from her so you can see if it will apply to the woman that you picked. This is what you should not be asking. What does she bring to the table? You should be learning who she is, because she can tell you anything. It's like a job interview. A lot of you rascals went to a job interview and y'all lied. Like you said, well, I go home and learn it. If they ain't got to know that I don't know this just yet. I just hurry up and try to learn it. And then you fake my way. Why? Because, they got good benefits and blah, 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 blah. The pay increase. Well, I want to be where I am. So I'll lie and turn around and tell them. If someone tells you something, they can tell you anything. They literally can tell you anything. The best way as a man, considering the fact that you should be in a leadership role, is you should be learning who she is. And when you learn who she is, the only way you're going to do that is you open her. You got to open her. She's like, we say first impression. You can judge a book by its cover. But then you don't know if it's actually right until you're inside of it. And then once you start getting inside of it and diving in, you have to play it. You have to apply it. And once you start applying it and learning it, it's like, okay, now that you decide, and so I was talking about the first one, that, okay, I'm going to be a blues guy. Now I learn her. Now I'm implementing what it is that she has, even though I know some stuff previously before. Like I was saying, I heard blues music already. So now that I've heard blues music and I understand a little bit of blues music, now that I'm with her, boom, 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 she's blues. Oh, now I'm out here on the bandstand, or I'm the leader of the band or whatever it is, and I'm playing this stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. You get people start coming up to you. This is why I say relationships is a business, because now these two go hand in hand. You implement with her, and you getting the assistance from her. That now you both go out there together as the entity, and you play it. Now it's like, oh my God, you touched my soul, and blah blah blah. When you two come together, this is how, now that she touched your soul, you went out here and played. This is how, when you start looking at various couples and you have people out here say relationship goes, because you two put it together. But you as a man have to know how to put this together. She's just going to come bring it as it's stated biblically. If you learning this stuff as a kid and you went to church, or they made you read a Bible, or you went to private school that was possibly Catholic or some kind of religion, they turn around, there was a scripture saying, I didn't talk so much, I didn't actually forgot. You apply it together, you two worked harmoniously together. Man, that's terrible. I actually forgot. But anyway, you two putting it together and you working together, man. It's not going to work unless you crack this open. Oh, helpmate. That's what I was going to say. This here is a helpmate. It's to help you. It's an aid. This book here, jazz. You can listen to the records all day long. But if you don't see how it's charted and theory, you can possibly play it right. But when you put the theory together with it, it creates balance, which is why I say relationships, men and women, are there for each other to create balance. So as men, we have to stop asking, what does she bring to the table? Because she gonna say whatever it is that she think that you might want to hear, because she looking for security. She don't care. Your job security. So when you don't fully learn this is when it goes down the opposite path. Because when she's looking for security, you gotta think, when you get praise, she's gonna get praise. If you apply this in the analogy that I'm applying. So when they're praised, like, oh, you sound great, then you know what I'm saying? Which means they would be complimenting you as a couple. So they turn around, it's like, oh, okay, it is not your job then to take all the credit. This is an opportunity. It's like, well, you know, I'm thankful. My wife aids to the betterment of us. Women being emotional creatures, they love to be praised. And it's really that simple. They love to be praised just as much as you love your ego stroke. So you learning this stuff is a benefit for you first. Because if once you learn this, you understand that, oh, okay, we're going to move in this, but then down the line, you know, things may shift because you have kids come involved and they may be a different one of these. Then you have to then turn around and learn that and then put them in position to then turn around and repeat the same thing that you just did. So you ask her, oh, well, what do I bring to the table? She starts saying, well, you know what I'm saying? You know, this is jazz. Oh, I bring Duke Ellington. You know, I'm trying to. Both names is. I got Ellis Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan at the same time. I almost crisscrossed the names. I'm Ellis Fitzgerald. I'm Sarah Vaughan. Wayne Shorter. Stanley Clarke. All this. She starts saying all this stuff. It's like, oh, okay. You get excited, but then the minute you start turning around, which that could be a problem on her end, which is it's not good for her to just. This is why you shouldn't ask, because you put her in a position to set your own self up to look stupid. Because if she starts lying to you, then now you're going to feel a type of way. So now you're like, oh, wait a minute. She said such and such. Now I'm opening this book. This ain't what I'm seeing here. You shouldn't have asked her. You gave her an opportunity to lie to you. Don't give her the opportunity to possibly lie. Investigate it. If this is what you know and this is what you want to see, you have to know this already. Whether it's this or it's this one. You got into rock. You got to understand this to some degree already. Once you get hurt, it's like the manual. You cracking open a manual to who she is to see where it complements with the stuff that you already know. You should already be learning about a lot of this stuff already. Whichever thing you're going to choose, you should already be learning about it. So when you get this, it's an addition. It's an addition to you. That's what she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be an addition to you. And when she becomes an addition to you, then you two use it together and now you multiply everything. That's how this is supposed to go. This is what you want. But you should not be coming out here or being out here asking, what do you bring to the table? And then you wonder why. And you say, oh, she said she brought such to the table. Now you upset because you found out that wasn't the case. You put your own self in that predicament. This is why I say it's a business, because you have to learn how to, in business, the key way to doing good business is to minimize your risk. You keep your risk very low. So if you know that somebody that you may dealing with may want to impress you because This happens a lot in relationships. A lot of people put on their representative, and it. Let me dress it up a little bit. I got the buttons. Let me button this up. Make it look a little bit more professional. So yeah, he may pick me or she may pick me. Now you didn't dress it up, and you didn't. They didn't now try to dress it up, and the whole time it's possibly a stain over here. They don't want you to see that joint, and now they hiding it because now you can see. You can't see this shirt the way you saw it before because I'm now hiding whatever is under here. So now if they've been hiding it, and all of a sudden you start, as I was saying with this book, same thing here. You start opening them up and exposing. What's the minute you start seeing some things that they said wasn't there and it's now there? You're allowing yourself to feel a certain type of way. No, don't ask. Don't ask a lot of this stuff. Just let it be normal. Let it be normal. And a lot of stuff is going to come out regardless. The more you're around somebody, the more you two get comfortable with each other, and stuff just starts coming out. Engage in conversation, but just don't that like, hey, what do you bring to the table? Hey, the rest gonna lie to you. Chances are they're gonna lie to you. They're gonna throw some lies in there. If it's not a 100% complete bold-faced lie, it's an exaggeration, which is still basically a form of a lie. They're gonna exaggerate some stuff in there. So why give them the opportunity? Learn this stuff. Learn whatever it is that you're deciding to choose, and find the woman who fits that. She fits that. I did it again. I apologize. I threw it down. It's supposed to be a representation of woman. If she fits what you want to do is rock, get as much of it as you can. Find a woman who's older, who's like rock. And then when you're with her, you rock out. I mean, it's simple, but it's evidently it's not, because we have a lot of people talking about, oh, what do you bring to the table? And no. Don't ask what she brings to the table. Dig in and see for yourself what it is. Because trust and believe, regardless of the fact, she's going to try to impress you. She's going to tell you a lot of stuff about herself. You approaching this like it's an intern, not a job. It's an intern. This is an intern. Therefore, you have what it is that she wants. And you're then teaching her all of the stuff that the job requires, and which she then gets to learn on the job, which becomes more valuable. So, but a lot of people don't want to go down that route because the intern there's no pay there. Most interns aren't paid. Now, you have some that who have benefits, but most of them is not the one that's paid. But most of the time, the ones who end up interning with the company is the ones who stay. So even in that regard, because a lot of times, when it comes to relationships, I don't like to deal with employee, the CEO. So I did just use that there, unfortunately. But even with the company to company, you got to see where it's benefiting you from. Afro Cuban, you got to see where it's benefiting you from. Now this could be this book here, which we all know. A lot of people who know this is an Unreal book. Know that this book, compared to the rest of these, this book is a monster. This book is a monster. You can't be here and then expect to jump here. And this is where you got to start understanding. This would be a representation of a whole different woman who's on a whole different plane than these. You have to do your due diligence to dive in a book like this. So with a woman who's on a whole different plane than the rest of these others, you have to do your due diligence, and which means you gotta do a whole lot more work in order to tackle this. It's just not your stand. Now, Afro-Cuban music, that's a little bit more difficult than jazz and rock music. You can say jazz because it covers a lot, which, Afro-Cuban has jazz too as well. But Afro-Cuban music is just it's a lot more than blues. It's a whole lot more than rock, depending on which rock you're playing. But it's more. But this book here, because Vinny covers so many facets of music, he's the drummers of drummers. You have to be a lot more versed. So when you're dealing with a woman who's more vast than these, you have to be a lot more versed. You gotta be versatile, very versatile to get this. And if you're not, you may not get past the first few pages. You may not get past the first few pages. So if you don't get past the first few pages, you gotta hope that your charisma and everything else is good enough for her to say, okay, well, he only knows this much of me. You better hope she's satisfied with that or content if you want to keep embarking on that. But it's best for you to keep learning and learning as you go, because as human beings, we are creatures when we see things and something looks better, we may think the grass is greener over there. We may want to jump ship, or we become envious of what the other person has. So if she is that much more vast, you really have to dive in. You just got to dive in. And if that means you need to learn all these, and then this one over here, understanding rhythms, which that would be like understanding women. Which you can't understand women. She just a whole other creature. Well, no. Find a woman who understands it all, or understands most of it, and learn. And the best thing to do is to find an older woman who's unbiased, and she knows how to control her emotions. Then you can understand. When you get this one, you understand most of all of them. You understand it. This is a key book in regards to the woman. Finding a woman who understands it, and then learning from her. And then once you learn from her, you can then learn how to apply it all to the rest of them. But you have to be willing to put the work in. You have to be willing to put the work in. And just asking her what does she bring to the table that's showing that you're not putting the work in. You want her to tell you. No. Now, I'm not saying, oh, okay, well, you don't get no information from her. And no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't look for her to tell you. Start analyzing all of the stuff that she does, all of the stuff that she says, because it's going to come out, and you put it all together. And then once you start putting it all together, then you be smart, like, oh, I see she likes so-and-so. Well, let's test it. Oh, okay. Now you know she likes so-and-so. Then she's like, oh, so you like blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, and now she's going to give you more information. That's like her now opening the book as well. And once she starts opening the book, you're reading. And how do you read? You read by her actions. Not what she say. You read by her actions. Her actions is telling you what's in here. People's actions tell you what's in them. They can tell you this stuff all day long. You can make up a whole dang, look at this book say, oh, such and such, such. There's Vinny on here. And then next thing you know, all you doing is talking about Dave Weckl. That's two different people. Dave Weckl and Vinny Colaiuta are two different people. But you can turn around and just say, oh, yeah, Dave Weckl and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, huh? But if somebody who knows Dave Weckl know that they telling you a bold, flat-faced lie. They looking at you like, Is this rascal stupid? Do he not know that? Like, oh, that's when you got the chicks or the guys or whatever. We're talking with women right here. Well, a woman just telling you anything, and then next thing you know, and then the other guy or the other woman looking at like, she getting this sucker real good. She bumping him upside his head like, boy, and he just steady falling for it. You didn't once crack open the book to see what she was really about. You just took it for face value when the book, and she's the book saying Vinny, and she's telling you she's Dave Weber. You fell for it. Now, it's sure a lot of musician guys, people will really understand what the heck it is I'm talking about. But yeah, like I said, Vinny and Dave Weber are two different people. So somebody tells you that, yeah, you are going to be in for a roller coaster. But yeah, looking to see that this is going on long enough. I mean, I can keep going, but I don't want to prolong this. But don't ask her what does she bring to the table. Investigate. Find out the stuff that she likes. Just don't just come out the gate and ask what she brings to the table. Just don't do that. Find the stuff that she likes. Find the stuff that she's aspiring to do. And then mention some of the things that it is that you're shooting towards. And you may find out that she does. But if she does like some of the stuff that is similar to you, test it. Test it. Don't just take it for face value. Test it. Put it in action. You want to build motorcycles. And she tells you, oh, I love motorcycles my whole entire life. My dad, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, she told you that. Find an event. Take her to the motorcycle thing. See how she responds while she's there. And if she's quiet the whole time, then ask questions later. If she's quiet the whole time and you ask questions later and she tells you, as they say in the Las Vegas world, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Because if she was paying attention and didn't say nothing the whole time, oh, buddy, you definitely got a winner there. Because that's telling me that she pays attention and she don't have to turn around and run her mouth every chance she gets. She paying attention behind the scenes, and that means there's a good chance she may have your back. So if you're doing that whole motorcycle deal business, and this is what you're looking to embark on, she's more or less gonna have your back in that endeavor. It's like things like that you gotta pay attention to. Yeah, like I said, I can keep going, but I'm gonna end on that note because I could be here forever, and I don't want to be here forever. So with that being said, fix your face, fix your spirit. Do as much as you can to learn as much as you can, because as men, we are leaders. And regardless of what women say, they technically want us to lead. There's something about it. Like I said, unless you got one of the women who's in BDSM and she likes to be dominant, most women like for a man to be in control and take charge. Not slave control. Not slave control. Or you dictate, and they have no influence at all. They like you be in control of yourself. Have your stuff together already. They want to make sure that, they prefer it that you're in control of yourself and you know how to put everything together. And that's what makes her feel secure, because that's one of their biggest things. They want to feel secure. They do not want to feel insecure. So learn as much as you can. Do as much as you can. And pay attention, as I'm going to tell you just like I tell my son. Always pay attention. Always pay attention. It is very paramount for your circle, your surroundings. With that being said, it's your boy, Will Craven. I'm out. Peace.